The biggest breaks in your career often show up when everything seems quiet and normal. Most people miss these golden moments because they don't know what to look for. But successful people have learned to spot the warning signs that massive opportunities are about to knock on their door. Right now, while you're watching this video, there might be 5 powerful signals happening around you that point to something incredible coming your way. These aren't random events. They're not coincidences. They're actually patterns that successful people have learned to recognize for decades. The problem is that most of us were never taught how to read these signs. We go through our days missing the clues that could change everything. We ignore the small shifts that actually predict big changes. And then we wonder why opportunities seem to pass us by while others seem to get lucky all the time. But here's what I've discovered after studying hundreds of success stories. The people who seem to have all the luck actually just know how to read the signs. They can tell when something big is about to happen because they've learned what to watch for. Today, I'm going to share these 5 specific signs with you. Each one of these signals has been proven to show up right before major opportunities arrive. And once you know what to look for, you'll never miss another big break again. This is crucial information, so please don't skip any part of this video. If you need to save time, watch at 1.5 or 2 times speed instead of jumping around. Every detail matters when it comes to spotting your next big opportunity. Now let me ask you something funny. When was the last time your phone buzzed and you thought, "Oh great, it's probably my mom asking if I ate lunch again"? But what if I told you that sometimes your phone buzzing could actually be the sound of your next big break knocking on your door? Here's the thing that cracks me up about most people. They get a message from someone they haven't talked to in years, and their first thought is usually something like, "What do they want from me?" Or, "This is weird. Why are they texting me now?" But successful people think completely different. They think, "Interesting. What's the universe trying to tell me?" The first sign out of 5 that big opportunities are coming your way is when unexpected people suddenly start reaching out to you. And I'm not talking about your Aunt Susan sharing cat videos on Facebook. I'm talking about people from your past who suddenly pop up like they just remembered you exist. This might sound crazy, but your network actually starts buzzing before opportunities show up. It's like your phone becomes a crystal ball, but instead of seeing the future, it's creating it. Former co-workers suddenly send you LinkedIn messages. Old college friends text you out of nowhere. That person you met at a coffee shop 2 years ago suddenly wants to catch up. Most people think these are just random coincidences, but here's what's really happening. Opportunities don't just fall from the sky like rain. They travel through human connections like electricity through wires. When something big is about to happen in your career or business, the people who could be involved in making it happen start getting these little nudges to reach out. I've seen this happen over and over again. A guy gets a random LinkedIn message from someone he worked with 3 jobs ago. He almost ignores it because he's busy, but he responds anyway just to be polite. Turns out that person just started working at his dream company and they need someone with his exact skills. 2 weeks later, he's making 6 figures more than his old job. Here's the funny part. The universe doesn't care if you're wearing pajamas and eating cereal when opportunity calls. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just sends the signal through whoever is available to send it. But here's where most people mess this up. They get these unexpected contacts and they either ignore them completely or they respond 3 days later with something boring like, "Hey, good to hear from you." Wrong move. When unexpected people reach out, you need to respond within 48 hours, and you need to be genuinely interested in what they have to say. Even if the initial contact seems totally unimportant, treat it like it could change your life. Because sometimes it actually does. The person might not have the opportunity themselves, but they might know someone who does. They might introduce you to someone at a party next week who becomes your business partner. The networking effect is real, and it works like this. Every person you know is connected to about 150 other people. When opportunities start flowing toward you, They create ripples through these connections. People start thinking about you for projects. Your name comes up in conversations. Someone mentions your skills at exactly the right moment. So here's what you do when unexpected people start reaching out. First, don't dismiss it as weird timing. Second, respond quickly and professionally, even if you're not sure why they're contacting you. Third, be genuinely curious about what they're up to. Ask questions. Show interest. Because sometimes the most casual conversation can lead to the biggest opportunities of your life. Now, you know what's wild? Sometimes the skills you thought were completely useless suddenly become the most valuable things about you. It's like discovering you've been carrying around diamonds in your pocket, thinking they were just pretty rocks. I remember hearing about this woman who spent years learning how to make PowerPoint presentations look amazing. She thought it was just part of her boring office job. Everyone told her it wasn't a real skill. Then remote work exploded, and suddenly everyone needed someone who could make presentations that didn't look like they were made in 1995. Now she makes more money teaching PowerPoint design than most people make at their full-time jobs. The second sign out of 5 that opportunities are coming is when your skills suddenly become in demand everywhere you look. It's like the whole world wakes up one morning and realizes they desperately need exactly what you're good at. This happens because the world is always changing. New problems pop up. Old solutions stop working. Technologies shift. Industries evolve. And sometimes the skills that seemed outdated or unimportant suddenly become exactly what everyone needs. Here's what this looks like in real life. Multiple people start asking you about the same expertise. Your friend asks if you know anything about social media marketing. Your neighbor wants to know if you can help with their online store. Your cousin mentions they need someone who understands the thing you've been doing for years. At first, it feels like a coincidence, but then it keeps happening. Maybe you learned how to fix computers when you were young, and everyone said that skill was becoming useless because computers were getting more reliable. Then suddenly, everyone is working from home, and tech problems are everywhere. Your phone starts ringing with people who need help. Or maybe you spent years learning how to write by hand beautifully, and everyone said that was pointless in the digital age. Then weddings got more personal, small businesses wanted handwritten signs, and suddenly calligraphy is worth hundreds of dollars per project. The beautiful thing about this sign is that you don't need to learn new skills to benefit from it. You already have what people need. You just need to recognize when the market is telling you that your abilities are becoming valuable. Here's how to spot this pattern. First, pay attention when multiple people ask about the same skill you have. Second, notice when industries related to your abilities start getting more attention in the news. Third, watch for new problems that your old skills can solve. When you start noticing this pattern, don't undervalue what you know. Most people make the mistake of thinking, oh, this is just basic stuff that everyone can do. Wrong. If everyone could do it, they wouldn't be asking you for help. Update your resume to highlight these skills. Start talking about them more in conversations. Let people know you're available to help with these things. Because when your skills become in demand, opportunities start flowing like water finding the lowest path. The compound effect is incredible here. When you have multiple skills that become valuable at the same time, opportunities don't just add up, they multiply. You become the person who can solve problems that other people can't, and that makes you incredibly valuable. And if you're finding this information as game-changing as I think you are, and you want to support the work we're doing here to help people recognize these life-changing patterns, feel free to smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Because when you subscribe, you're not just supporting a channel, you're joining a community of people who are learning to spot opportunities before they become obvious to everyone else. What if I told you that the universe sometimes acts like your personal assistant, quietly removing obstacles from your path without you even asking? This might sound too good to be true, but stick with me because this third sign is probably the most powerful indicator that something amazing is about to happen in your life. The third sign out of 5 that big opportunities are coming is when obstacles that have been blocking your path for months or even years suddenly start disappearing on their own. Not because you fought harder or worked more, but because they just naturally dissolve like sugar in hot water. Think about this for a moment. Remember that problem that's been driving you crazy for months? The one that seemed impossible to solve? The barrier that made you want to give up on your dreams? What if that problem suddenly vanished next week? What if the difficult person at work suddenly became cooperative? What if the money you needed just became available? What if your schedule suddenly opened up in ways you never expected? This is exactly what happens when the universe is preparing space for your next big opportunity. It's like watching someone rearrange a room before bringing in new furniture. Old problems check out. Stubborn situations suddenly become flexible. Resources that were tied up become free. Here's a real example that will blow your mind. A woman wanted to start her own business but felt trapped by her apartment lease, her demanding job, and her tight budget. For 2 years, nothing changed. Then, within 1 month, her company offered early retirement packages. Her landlord decided to sell the building and offered to break her lease early. And her aunt left her a small inheritance she didn't even know was coming. 3 major obstacles gone just like that. Most people experience this and think it's just lucky timing. But successful people recognize this pattern for what it really is. The universe making room for something bigger to enter their life. The reason this happens is fascinating. When a major opportunity is heading your way, everything that would prevent you from seizing that opportunity needs to move out of the way first. It's like the universe has to clear the runway before the airplane can land. Financial constraints that seem permanent suddenly ease up. Maybe you get an unexpected tax refund, or someone pays back money they owed you, or you find a better deal on something expensive. People who were difficult and uncooperative suddenly become helpful. Time that was completely taken up by other commitments suddenly opens up in your schedule. The key is learning to recognize this pattern when it's happening, instead of just thinking you're having a lucky streak. When multiple obstacles start clearing away at the same time, that's not coincidence. That's preparation. Here's what you absolutely cannot do when this starts happening. Don't question it. Don't create new obstacles because you're afraid the good luck won't last. Don't fill up your newly free time with meaningless activities. Stay ready, because when the universe starts moving furniture, something bigger is trying to move in. The mistake most people make is they see one problem disappear and immediately create a new one to replace it. Almost like they're uncomfortable with things being too easy. They get extra money and immediately find something unnecessary to spend it on. They get free time and immediately fill it with busy work. Instead, when you notice obstacles clearing away naturally, take it as a sign to prepare yourself for what's coming. Update your skills, expand your network, clear your mental space, because when opportunities arrive and find you ready and available, that's when magic happens. If you're getting incredible value from these insights and want to support this mission of helping people recognize these life-changing patterns, you can show your appreciation by clicking the thanks button just below this video. Every contribution helps us continue creating content that genuinely transforms lives. And honestly, knowing that this information is making a real difference in your world means everything to us. Let's continue. This next sign is perhaps the most profound lesson you'll ever learn about recognizing incoming opportunities, and I need you to pay very close attention because most people completely misunderstand what's happening when they experience this. The fourth sign out of 5 that massive opportunities are approaching is when you start feeling restless and ready for change in ways that seem to come from somewhere deep inside you. This isn't just being tired of your job or wanting a vacation. This is a fundamental shift in how you see yourself and what you believe you're capable of achieving. Here's what this looks like, and I want you to really think about whether you've experienced any of these feelings recently. You start feeling like you've outgrown your current situation, not because anything terrible happened, but because something inside you has expanded beyond what your current life can contain. You might be successful where you are, but success starts feeling small compared to what you sense is possible. Your confidence begins to grow in unexpected ways. You find yourself thinking thoughts like, "I could probably do that better," or "I wonder what would happen if I tried something completely different." Ideas that used to seem impossible start feeling not just possible, but inevitable. There's often a strange pull toward new directions that you can't fully explain. You might find yourself researching careers you never considered before, or dreaming about places you've never been, or imagining versions of yourself that seem almost too good to be true. But instead of dismissing these dreams, they start feeling more real than your current reality. What's happening here is absolutely fascinating from a psychological perspective. Your subconscious mind is like an incredibly sophisticated radar system that picks up on changes in your environment long before your logical mind notices anything different. When opportunities are building momentum toward you, your subconscious senses it and starts preparing you emotionally and mentally. This is why successful people have learned to trust these feelings instead of ignoring them. They understand that feeling restless isn't a sign that something is wrong with their current situation. It's a sign that something bigger is trying to emerge in their life. The difference between restlessness that comes from problems and restlessness that comes from approaching opportunities is crucial to understand. Problem-based restlessness makes you want to escape your current situation. Opportunity-based restlessness makes you want to expand beyond your current situation. One is running away from something, the other is running toward something. When you feel this kind of restlessness, your willingness to take risks naturally increases. Not reckless risks, but calculated risks that your previous self would have been too scared to consider. You start having conversations you wouldn't have had before. You start exploring possibilities that used to seem too ambitious. Here's the massive lesson that cannot be taken for granted. These feelings are not random. They are not signs that you're ungrateful or dissatisfied with your blessings. They are your internal guidance system, alerting you that it's time to prepare for something bigger. What you do with these feelings determines whether you'll be ready when opportunities actually arrive. Most people try to suppress them, convince themselves they should be grateful for what they have, and force themselves back into contentment with their current situation. This is a mistake of epic proportions. Instead, when you feel this restlessness, use it as fuel for preparation. Start researching new possibilities. Begin conversations with people in fields that interest you. Update your skills. Expand your network. Clear space in your life for new projects or commitments. The most important thing is to avoid sabotaging yourself during this crucial phase. Don't make major decisions based on fear of these feelings. Don't quit your job impulsively, but also don't ignore the signal that change is coming. Prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and practically for the opportunities that your subconscious mind is already sensing. Remember, your next big break isn't just going to appear randomly. It's going to appear when you're ready for it, and this internal restlessness is your mind's way of getting you ready. Listen to it, trust it, and act on it wisely. Now, I want you to think back over the past few weeks and ask yourself this question. Have you been noticing the same ideas, themes, or even specific words showing up repeatedly in completely unrelated places? Maybe you've been thinking about starting a podcast, and suddenly you hear 3 different people mention podcasting in one day. Or you've been considering a career change, and everywhere you look, you see articles about people who successfully switched careers. If this sounds familiar, then you need to understand what's really happening here, because the 5th and final sign that major opportunities are coming your way is when synchronicities and meaningful coincidences start multiplying in your life at an almost impossible rate. This isn't about seeing the same number on license plates or finding pennies on the ground. This is about the universe seemingly conspiring to put exactly the right information, people, and resources in your path at exactly the right moments. It's like reality itself starts organizing around your goals and dreams. Think about your own experience for a moment. Have you ever been struggling with a problem only to overhear a conversation that contained the exact solution you needed? Have you ever been thinking about someone you lost touch with and then bumped into them the next day? Have you ever desperately needed specific information and then found exactly what you needed in the most unexpected place? When opportunities are building momentum toward you, these types of experiences don't just happen occasionally, they start happening constantly. You meet people who mention exactly what you've been thinking about. Books fall off shelves at the library, and when you pick them up, they contain exactly the information you needed. Conversations happen around you that seem designed specifically for your ears. The timing becomes almost impossibly perfect. You apply for a job on the same day they decide to expand the department. You think about calling someone, and they call you first. You need to learn a new skill, and someone offers to teach you that exact skill the following week. Science actually has explanations for why this happens. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system, which acts like a filter for all the information coming at you every day. When you're focused on something important, this system starts highlighting everything related to that focus. Suddenly, you notice things that were always there but were invisible to you before. But there's something deeper happening here too. When you're aligned with an incoming opportunity, you naturally start gravitating toward the people, places, and information that connect to that opportunity. You make different choices about where to go and what to pay attention to. You become like a magnet, and the opportunity becomes like metal filings, naturally drawn together. The key is learning to distinguish between meaningful synchronicities and random events. Meaningful synchronicities feel significant when they happen. They give you information you can act on. They connect to goals or problems you've been thinking about. Random events might be interesting, but they don't point you in any particular direction. When you start noticing these patterns, the most important thing you can do is pay attention and follow up. If the same company name comes up 3 times in 1 week, research that company. If multiple people mention the same book, read it. If you keep hearing about the same event, attend it. Most people dismiss these signs as coincidence and miss incredible opportunities. They think it's silly to believe that the universe might be trying to communicate with them through everyday events. But successful people have learned that paying attention to these patterns is one of the most powerful ways to position themselves for major breakthroughs. Start documenting these synchronicities when they happen. Keep a note in your phone. Write them down in a journal. When you start tracking them, you'll be amazed at how often they actually occur and how they seem to build towards specific outcomes. The universe is constantly providing guidance and opportunities, but most people are too busy or too skeptical to notice. When you start paying attention to synchronicities, you're essentially learning to speak the universe's language. And once you can understand what it's trying to tell you, your life will never be the same. Now you know the 5 signs that big opportunities are coming your way. Unexpected people reaching out, your skills becoming in demand, obstacles clearing away naturally, internal restlessness and readiness for change, and synchronicities multiplying around you. These signs work together like instruments in an orchestra, creating a symphony that announces your next big break. But here's what separates the winners from everyone else. Knowing these signs means absolutely nothing if you don't act on them. You could spot every single pattern perfectly and still watch opportunities slip through your fingers if you don't prepare yourself when the signs start appearing. The mindset shift you need to make right now is this: stop waiting for luck and start recognizing patterns. Your next major opportunity isn't going to fall into your lap while you're sitting on your couch. It's going to appear when you're alert, prepared, and positioned to seize it. When you start noticing these signs, immediately update your resume, expand your network, and clear space in your schedule. Start conversations with people in your field. Research companies and opportunities that interest you. Make yourself visible and available for the opportunities that are building momentum toward you. The biggest mistake people make is spotting the signs, but then doing nothing different with their behavior. They recognize the patterns but continue living exactly the same way they always have. That's like seeing a train coming and standing on the tracks. Here's the truth that will either inspire you or haunt you. Your next big break might be closer than you think. It might show up next week, next month, or tomorrow. And when it does, it will either find you ready and waiting, or it will find you unprepared and move on to someone who is ready. Don't be the person who looks back 6 months from now and realizes they had all the warning signs but chose to ignore them. Don't be the person who recognizes opportunities only after they've already passed by. Don't be the person who knew but didn't act. The YouTube algorithm knows exactly what you need to watch next to continue building the life you deserve. That video appearing on your screen right now isn't random. It's the next piece of your success puzzle. Click on it, because the universe is trying to give you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it.